how are you finding that with leaders? You know, is that something that people are resonating with that message? Are they able to hear that?
Not free willingly. I have been involved in a movement that we call the conscious capitalism movement.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm familiar with that. Mm-hmm.
And there are 4 pillars of that philosophy, and one is purpose. Mm-hmm. One is stakeholders orientation. One is culture, conscious mm-hmm. culture of the organization. And the last one is conscious leadership. Mm-hmm. And that is the area that I have been mostly focusing on, because again, if we don't start there, I don't believe we can create a conscious culture. Mm-hmm. Or do we understand why it's important to value all stakeholders? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or are we interested to find our purpose?
Yes.
So
it's got to start with that base, that foundation.
Exactly. That to me is it. And my experience is that even in the conscious capitalism movement, that particular step is often overlooked. And very often it isn't until leaders get into trouble, either in the workplace and they are not getting along, or having communication challenges or difficulties with other people, that maybe their bosses, give them a coach, mm-hmm. that, there are certain areas you need to be working on. So we are going to give you some coaching and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Or it happens on a personal level. And I think that's more often the case, that leaders, just as human beings, come into challenges. It could be illness. It could be burnout after crazy work mm-hmm. schedule. It could be a divorce. It could be, we could say, midlife crisis.
Yes, all of that. Yeah.
Where there is that they find themselves cornered off, and that the way they have been able to move through life before is simply not working. And there's like a hole on the inside, and they're very confusing. They don't know what this is. And, but if nothing is done, it keeps on festering there. Mm-hmm. And like regarding burnout, there's so many people who have been taken down through burnout. And so they are forced to get their health back by going into taking on a healing journey. Mm-hmm. And through that process, they start to look at things within themselves. And if they are lucky to have good people to guide them and help them, that they start to look at who they are and why they are here. And, the truth of who they really are.
Yes. And so purpose comes in a very different way then.
That's right.
As something fundamental that they need to explore as part of who am I really? And what am I really here to do?
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it kind of sneaks up on you. And often I find that the age group that starts to wake up to this, even though there are, this can happen anytime, but very often it's like 35, 40 mm-hmm. plus that people start to wake up. They've gone through their education, they've started their career, maybe they've, started a family mm-hmm. and have maybe a good career. But then this starts to come in.
Yeah.
And they start to go for that, we could say, search. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's search. And I call it a leadership journey. It's really taking a journey into yourself, to lead yourself first and foremost. And by being able to lead yourself, you're going to be much more effective leading other people in your workplace.
Yes. And I think about that in terms of mastery. Self-mastery, master of self, so that not control of self, but so that you can have that fluidity of an inner connection that nourishes and informs what you do in the outer world. Often I've had people come to me who've crashed and burned, really.
Yeah.
Maybe they were hugely successful, and then they did crash and burn because they didn't have that foundation that you're speaking about so beautifully.
Right, exactly. And in a way, what they gain when they start taking on this journey, and at least in my case, and I see it, if people are really sincere taking this journey on, there's no turning back.
You can't turn the light off once it's been turned on.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of it. And so that's where I see that business leaders who have turned the light on, they start to become much more conscious about the culture and the stakeholders orientation and the other pillars of the conscious capitalism framework. And many of them are doing great things today. Some literally creating new companies. We could say a conscious business model where they honor all these principles, and others transforming their own businesses.